going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers played arguably their worst game of the season. I mean, they were atrocious in that game against the Miami Heat. It was crazy that they actually were in that game. If Miami just hit like half of the shots that they had wide open, then Lakers would have lost by probably 70. They were 16 of 42 from three-point range, right? Which is 38%, which is good. But they really kind of picked it up towards the back end, especially from Duncan Robinson. Because before that, I mean, they were missing ridiculously wide open shots. And the Lakers just continue not to be able to score the basketball. Another game, they don't even clear 100 this time. They had 21. They had almost as many turnovers as they did assists. 21 turnovers and 29 assists. Not winning games that way. You're just not. Right? It's just, you're 4 of 30 from three-point range. They're terrible. They are. They're just not very good at the game of basketball right now. And it's crazy that, 4 weeks ago, it was all sunshines and rainbows. 5 games over 500, just won the in-season tournament, right? Now the Lakers are tied with the Warriors for 11th. They're currently in the 10th spot, but it's only because they're 17 and 18 and the Warriors are 16 and 17, right? Lakers are on a 3-game losing streak. They're now 4 games out of 6th. So right now, they would be lucky to just even stay in the play-in at the rate they're going. Darvin Ham has been a disaster. His rotations, his lineups, right? Like, he had a sequence in the game where Christian Wood, and this was in the second quarter. This is the type of stuff that drives me crazy. Christian Wood gets a bucket, right? Then he follows that up next possession, gets an offensive rebound that leads to a bucket. Then on the other side of things, goes and gets a block shot that leads to a transition that leads to an inevitable bucket. And it was on that run, and he by himself gave the Lakers a 6-point swing, right? And they're trying to go on this run to get back in the game. I think they cut it to 7 at that time, something like that. Maybe it was 5 or something like that. It was early in the game. They went down 12. But anyway, they go on a 6-0 run or whatever. And Darvin Ham's trying to get Anthony Davis in the game, which is fine, right? Okay, good. You're on a run. Get AD back in the game, right? Try to extend it. And he has Jalen Hood-Schifino on the court, which some people thought, why have him on the... I didn't really hate it that much, especially early in the game, right? Throw him out there. You're missing several guys. You don't really have many guards, especially point of attack guy, right? If you want to throw him out there, just see if maybe he can get a couple stops or whatever. I didn't really hate that. But you're on this run, and Wood was the entire run. And instead of taking Schifino out to put AD in, he decides to put AD in for Christian Wood. It was what are you doing? That guy has been just hustled and just had literally 3 straight great sequences, and you're taking him and you're rewarding him by taking him out of the game. Just doesn't those are the kind of things that drive me insane. The way he utilizes guys, the way he sticks with guys. Guys will be 0 of 10 and they're playing 30 minutes. But the guys that are actually giving you quality and giving you production, those are the guys that are getting 15 minutes. It's stick with the guys that are having the success, right? I understand wanting to trust your guys. I understand wanting to believe in your guys, but you're a team, right? You win and lose as a team. Right? If anybody on this team is that selfish that they go, hey, I didn't play, I was 0 of 6 or whatever, and you decided to leave me out of the game, but we won the game, I don't want that guy on my team. Trade him immediately. Because that's not how it should be. It should be, hey, dude, I had a bad night. Thank you so much for stepping up. Thank you so much for helping to deliver a win here. And Darvin Ham just continues to just be poor. Now, look, I know many people want to blame Darvin Ham as he's the only reason. He's not the only reason. He's part of the problem, without a doubt. But the players just aren't good. They're just not good at the game of basketball. And it's beyond Darvin Ham. Swap the coach. Change the coach. They're not going to fire him. It doesn't make any sense. They're not going to fire him midway through the season, for one. Two, he's under contract for 4 years, right? They're not going to pay him, 3.5 years more of a salary, hire a new coach. Like, they'll go into the offseason and kind of reevaluate and take it from there, right? So we're stuck with him for at least this year. But, like, it's beyond him, too, right? Even if you did swap him right now, one, who are you swapping him with? And two, right, it doesn't matter if the players continue to play terrible. I mean, Lakers were missing wide open shots. Wide open shots. Can't score the basketball. LeBron James had a bad game. I'm not going to get on Bron too much because, one, he's sick. He wasn't even supposed to play. But also, like, the guy's been ridiculous this year, right, in a good way, right? So I'm not going to criticize him too much for having a bad game. Same thing with Prince. Like, Prince was terrible. He's 0-6, 0-5 from the field, right? Bad game, but he's been our third most consistent guy all season. But it does frustrate me that Prince, 0-6, 0-5, played 29 minutes, right? It's just like, again, stick with the guys that are working, stick with the guys that are playing, but it's not like he had many options. It's not like other guys were playing great, right? Like, it's frustrating. And what's sad is this team is worse than last year's team. They really are. Because, one, last year's team was only 2 games worse at this point of the season? 2 or 3 games worse? But also, last year, you looked at the roster, there wasn't a ton of hype, right? It was like, we're super undersized, we have no size, we have 6 point guards. Like, the average height of our roster is 6'1", right? It's like, we got to make a trade. None of this works. You have Patrick Beverley, who was unplayable, worst offensive player in the league. Thomas Bryant was great offensively for us, but he was literally the worst defensive center in the league. That's not an exaggeration. That's a literal fact. Russell Westbrook was a disaster with the Lakers, right? They're trying to figure him out on the bench, trying to make him work, trying to reel him into it, right? You look like nobody's playing well. Reeves hadn't emerged yet at that point, right? It's just okay, unless we get a trade, we can kiss the season goodbye. Anthony Davis was kind of questionable. He was his shot wasn't falling. He was kind of all over the place at times. LeBron James was playing fantastic, but he wasn't really, at times it didn't really seem like he was so much invested in winning and losing games as he was chasing the scoring title. And I think that cost him towards the end of the season. But in his defense, I don't think he knew that the Lakers were going to end up putting together a roster that was going to get to the conference finals. I think he was looking at it as hey, if we're not going to make the playoffs, I might as well go get the scoring title, right? Where this team and this roster, you look at it, it's this team should be good. As bad as that team was last year, at least they tried. They were in most games. They just couldn't close down the stretch, or they'd have a costly turnover or whatever that would cost them the game. But at least you never questioned their effort. You never questioned them showing up to play the game of basketball. This Lakers team, you genuinely question, do any of these guys even want to play basketball? Are any of these guys even part of the team? It's so crazy to me. When we went into the season, there was so much optimism. It was man, this team is deep. They are big. They are stacked. They are versatile, right? And then LeBron James and Anthony Davis are playing out of their minds this year. You got Anthony Davis playing the best he's played since the bubble. You got LeBron James playing the most efficient he's played since his Miami days. And the Lakers can't win a game. It's crazy. You have all this talent, all this depth. There is no way you thought the Lakers would be this bad. There's haters and there's people oh, Lakers are going to still be a play team. Lakers still set. They were just talking. Nobody really thought that the Lakers would be this bad, that they'd be this terrible. And it's inexcusable because they have the talent. We've seen games when what it looks like when guys just show up. Right? If the Lakers weren't making shots and the Lakers were just playing bad and they were just bad offensively, but they were regularly showing up and bringing energy and bringing effort and focusing, right? Then it's just okay, if the offense comes over, like, you can justify things. But there's no justification when guys don't show up and play. You have no consistency from anybody. It's just, it's crazy because it's just like, this is a roster that should have been a top 4 team in the league. This is a roster that you look at and you go, man, you should be able to win games without LeBron and AD. Now it's like, dude, if we didn't have LeBron and AD, this team would be worse than probably Detroit. And it's just like, if I told you at the going into the season, right? If I told you like, hey, look at this roster. Oh, by the way, Anthony Davis is going to play like he did in the bubble. And LeBron James was going to be Miami LeBron. I mean, not like controlling the game, but like efficiency-wise. Oh, and by the way, Taurean Prince has been just amazing shooting the 3 ball. Taurean Prince is having the most efficient season of his career and is basically a lock for 3 or 4 threes a game. He'll have his bad game here and there, but for the most part, like for 2 months into the season, like you're basically almost guaranteed to get 3 or 4 threes from him a game. You would think the Lakers would be the best team in the league, and you wouldn't be shocked if I said they were undefeated, right? 30 games in. You'd be like, oh, the Lakers are like, what, 30-0? Like, but no, you look at reality and it's like, all of those things I just mentioned are real, and we're a game under 500. When 4 weeks ago, we just won the play-in, or the in-season tournament, and we were 5 games over 500. The Lakers have to do whatever it takes to get a trade done. They do. Matter you watch the season, which I don't agree with. I don't think they should. But then at least they'd have 3 firsts going into once you get to the NBA draft. But I don't know. It's just it's crazy that this team has actually been worse than last year's team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure you're very disappointed like me, but outside of that, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.